Hey Parkway, welcome back to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse, where each month we take time to look back and to celebrate what God has done, but then also look forward to what we're praying and hoping for God to do in the upcoming month. And when we look back on January 2025, we started the year strong with a series in the book of Exodus called Hope in the Wilderness, where we're asking God to show us from the nation of Israel how we find hope in those difficult, barren, wilderness places. As well as in the month of January, we had our annual student winter retreat where we saw 5 students go from death to life and come to faith in Jesus Christ. And we are celebrating and worshiping and praising God for that, as well as all the other decisions that were made in following Jesus in our students' lives. We're so grateful for our students and how they are an integral part of our church today. And last but not least, we hosted our first ever Multiply gathering where we called the church together to gather in our upper room here at the church, just like the church did in Acts chapter 1, where they gathered together to devote themselves to prayer. And that's what we did at our Multiply gathering. We were gathered praying specifically that God would help us to be a church that is multiplying disciples, that we're calling all of us to be involved in this disciple-making process because we all have a part to play, because we know that as we make and multiply disciples, we are going to plant churches that plant churches so that we can reach the vision that God has given us of reaching every man, woman, and child here in the greater Austin area and beyond. So when we look back on the month of January, we saw God do some incredible things that leads us into this next month of February. And as we look into the month of February, I'm so excited about 2 classes that we're starting, Embrace Grace and Embrace Life, which are 2 uniquely designed classes to bring support around single moms in our congregation, but also in our city. Beyond that, we have our Go Beyond Missions Emphasis Week that we're starting this year. It's our first ever, going from February 16th to the 23rd, where we as a church are going to be able to participate in a time where we're going to have vision casts for how we can be involved in God's heart for the world. We're going to be given an opportunity to not only hear about what God's doing around the world, but to help see our active part that we can be involved in. Because you know, here at Parkway, our 4th value is to launch joyfully, because joining God's mission is our privilege. And we want to be about that mission, not only here locally, but globally to the nations. In closing out the month of February, we have our annual men's retreat from February 28th to March 2nd, where we're inviting all the guys to come and join us for an incredible weekend of seeking after Jesus, going deep with him, rejecting passivity, and really accepting responsibility to be the men that God has called us to be. It's going to be an incredible time, guys. I can't wait to see you there. So as we look back on the month of January and celebrate, and as we look forward to the month of February of what we're praying for, I want to say thank you. Thank you for investing in the mission of Jesus here at Parkway, both with your time, your talents, but also your treasures, that we're bringing all of us into giving our lives sacrificially to partner arm in arm for the sake of God, the gospel going to every man, woman, and child. Thanks so much, Parkway, for tuning in to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse.